Hi and welcome to the second part of my video on cinema releases, re-releases and memories. As mentioned in the first part, any particular films I'll comment on, otherwise I'll just move on to the next. So firstly we have Star Wars Episode 1, The Phantom Menace. I can remember not liking this at all and can recall only two things. One, an annoying character of Jar Jar Binks because of his voice and the way he behaved. Second, was a race that happened, which didn't really appeal to me. I quite enjoyed The Guardian. It was interesting seeing these raw recruits in a Coast Guard rescue swimmer school and the intense training that they have to go through, with many not making it through the program. It was a bonus having Kevin Costner as one of the main leads. I did like this installment of the franchise doing something different and having pretty much the entire movie take place in the future. This is one of the better Terminator movies, especially when you compare it to Dark Fate, where you had a domesticated Arnie selling drapes. It was good seeing a younger version of Kyle Reese from the Terminator. I thought this was one of the better films in the Conjuring universe and really enjoyed it over its sequel. I liked the time period and country it was set in, being 1950s Romania and taking place in a monastery. Also that the monastery had kept an evil demon of Valak confined to that area. At the start of the movie, I liked how you see this demonic entity of the nun moving towards the screen out of the darkness. I was initially looking forward to going to see the sequel to the 80s Beetlejuice at the cinema, but was left mostly disappointed. I just felt there were too many characters and side stories compared to the tight story of the original. This was the first movie I went to see at our new cinema in Upper Hutt. It has 4 screens and offers a mix of international, local, art house and Indian films. Apart from the usual snack bar, it also has a cafe. The best thing about the place is the cost of the tickets. The prices are actually not too bad. It is just the cost of cinema drinks and snacks that are daylight robbery. Alien Romulus overall I thought was decent compared to other ones in the Alien franchise, such as Alien Covenant and Prometheus, that lost me in terms of understanding the storyline and what was going on. However, in Romulus I did like seeing the familiar weapons of the pulse rifle from Aliens and an android that displayed the physical and voice likeness of Ash from Alien. I also liked it being set in between the events of Alien and Aliens, which did make this one easy for me to follow. This has been a franchise that hasn't, in my opinion, had any bad installments. I did like the film starting off in the 1960s instead of the modern day, and death coming after all the survivors of the disaster over the decades. It was good to see Tony Todd's character make an appearance and for him to have a connection to the event that took place at the beginning of the movie. Also, seeing this fortified compound that a woman lived in to avoid death claiming her. I did like Final Destination Bloodlines paying homage to earlier parts. For example, seeing a logging truck go by that was part of a disaster in Final Destination 2. I can't recall if I've read the short story this film is based on, but really enjoyed it. A very powerful and emotional story set in the 1970s about 50 boys that take part in a competition where they must walk non-stop at a particular speed, but if they drop below it, they face certain death. The walk doesn't end until there is only one contestant left. The acting is brilliant and there is not one bad performance. The character development and the relationships formed between the boys is superb, and you really feel for each one when they are brutally shot. I was quite taken back when none of the boys could even stop to take a shit or pee. There was nothing negative I could say about The Long Walk, and would have to be one of the best films of the year for me. Scream 7 I thought was a welcome return to form, as the previous installment didn't stand out as much to me, as it was missing the character of Sydney, which did drag it down, as well as characters surviving what seemed like fatal stab wounds. I liked in Scream 7 how they used the updated technology of AI and deepfakes. Having the character of Stu from the first Scream film appear was a bonus. Well, that brings to a close the second part of this video and all the films I've seen at the cinema, including re-releases to this very day. Thank you very much for listening and have a great day.